Gallatin County now leads the state in coronavirus cases. Coming up, what the health department is saying about the latest test results. Plus, learn how a doctor in Billings may have a way to deal with surgical mask shortages in the state and find out how you might be able to help. We're coming up on 6:30 now, back here on Montana This Morning. Caitlin Corbett, Matt Elwell. Looking forward to a beautiful day out there, 50s.
Yeah. It's going to be fabulous for most of us, sitting around
awesome.
the 50-degree mark, so get outside and enjoy it while you can.
Can't wait.
Maybe a little bit of a breeze as you head into the afternoon. That may make things a little more uncomfortable, but our temperatures are pretty nice even early on, into the 20s for most of us. 14, one of our coldest temperatures in West Yellowstone. The clouds are going to build as we move later into the day, and that means that we'll probably see the potential some showers for the area as we head into the evening and overnight hours. Beautiful afternoon today with highs near the 50-degree mark, but again, the evening does bring some snow potential for parts of the area. We're going to break it all down for you from the Billion Auto Weather Patio in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Matt. 6:30 now. Gallatin County now leads the state in coronavirus cases. There are now 10 confirmed cases of coronavirus in the county. There are also 2 new cases in Silverbow County and 1 new case in Madison County. That brings the total number of cases across Montana to 34. And in response to the new coronavirus cases being announced, the Gallatin City County Health Department held a news conference. The main takeaway, most of the latest cases did not come from the outside, from anyone with a travel history. They actually came from within the county, from people who have not traveled abroad. Now, this is what's called community transmission, and it means the source of the disease is unknown or cannot be directly traced back to a known exposure.
This is not surprising. We've known this day was coming, and we've been working hard with partners to prepare the community. As a result of that work, our advice for the public also is not changing dramatically. The greatest advantage we have over this virus is our own discipline and willingness to distance ourselves from others.
And we, of course, will continue to keep you updated as we get more updates from the county health department. Well, Gallatin County now says a number of its offices are closed to the public because of the coronavirus outbreak. Those offices include the motor vehicle departments in Bozeman and Belgrade, the treasurer's office, the Gallatin County District Court Clerk, the clerk and recorder's office, 911 records, and the Office of Planning and Community Development. Again, those offices all closed until further notice. 6:31 now. MSU Billings is asking students currently living in the residence halls to vacate. Now, it's an attempt to reduce the spread of the coronavirus, so students began moving their stuff out of dorms this past weekend. Now that Yellowstone County has 5 positive cases of the virus, it is officially asking those students to get out. Officials are asking students to find another place to live. In addition, Montana University System will issue prorated refunds for students who have to move out starting March 23rd. As Montana leaders roll out recommendations for social distancing and Montana establishments are forced to close their doors, one question on everyone's mind is, when can we expect things to return to normal? But as MTN's Mitch Laggy reports, the leader of the governor's coronavirus task force says there's no good answer to that question.
Flattening the curve through social distancing. That's the name of the game when it comes to preventing the spread of COVID-19. The state government is trying to curb the eventual explosion of positive cases that have the potential to overwhelm the state's healthcare system.
If they don't take the recommendations into account, this could go on longer. And that's why Governor's been very clear about what we all need to do as individuals and as a public to try to limit this thing and bring it back under control.
Montana Governor Steve Bullock announced a directive to close restaurants, bars, gyms, and theaters on Friday. That directive expires at midnight on March 27th. State leaders say these steps are necessary and not just a knee-jerk reaction.
This is not an overreaction, and nobody would want to put businesses and schools in the place where we're putting them as an overreaction. This is a cautionary step that we have to do to ensure that we contain this virus. This virus is deadly. It is killing people across this nation and across the world, and we need to take this very, very seriously and ensure that we can limit this exposure across Montana.
The goal is to prevent COVID-19 spread by keeping people apart. If Montanans heed the governor's directive, the disease will hopefully spread less, and businesses can start to get back to normal.
What we're hoping will happen through this is that once we get back to normal, there'll be a little bit of a pent-up demand, if you will. There'll be a real hunger for folks to get out and start enjoying life again, and that we'll be able to see businesses start thriving.
In the meantime, O'Hare encouraged Montanans to support local businesses. Buying gift cards and ordering delivery from local restaurants are good ways to help during this time of economic downturn. In Billings, Mitch Laggy, MTN News.
Quinn appeared yesterday on MTN's Face the State program. The entire broadcast is online right now on our websites. 6:34 now. Montana's healthcare providers continue to face shortages for common items. Things like standard surgical masks are flying off store shelves. And as this happens, medical professionals are struggling to keep themselves safe. But as MTN's Samantha Sullivan explains, a group in Billings might have found a solution.
Felt good for me.
Yeah, it feels good.
On Saturday night at High Tech Filters in Billings, a meeting of the minds to streamline the process of cutting filters for a 3D printed plastic mask, which can help solve the problem of mask shortages for healthcare workers in our area.
We have been trying to come up with a way of extending the limited supply of masks that we have. Suppliers are not able to get us the masks, and we have only a limited number on hand, so we've been trying to figure out how can we make those masks go further.
In a crisis situation, minds have to move quickly. The red tape, typically slowing down innovation, is removed.
As Americans, we don't really think about shortage of resources. We are definitely starting to feel it at this point.
It was on Thursday night that Dr. Richardson, a neurosurgeon at Billings Clinic, along with Spencer Zog, a local dentist, and his son Colton, were able to design a mask to be printed using a 3D printer, allowing 6 to 10 uses out of the common surgical mask.
We can take a patch made from a standard surgical mask, insert it into the mask, and plug the hole, thereby allowing for a filtration cartridge using only a portion of each mask.
The mold, created using a template online and a scan of Colton's face, can be scaled up or down to fit different people. They take about 2 hours to print and cost only $1 to produce. Because they're made of plastic, the mask can be wiped down and sanitized to be used over and over again.
We commonly change those masks out between every case for sanitary reasons. Starting about 2 weeks ago, the supplies became limited enough that we've now been able to use one mask per day.
Days after the design was created, High Tech Filters was able to offer a solution. Instead of cutting down individual surgical masks, a machine could cut dozens of inserts in a matter of seconds.
Essentially, we can use hospital-grade filtration material that fits right there inside the mask, and it can be mass-produced on the CNC.
On the CNC, no problem.
In just days, a solution to the problem facing medical professionals around the country.
12 masks in a matter of seconds.
Now, the hope is to get as many 3D printers in the area going as they can to get these masks to those who need them most. Billings Public Schools have offered their help with the use of the district's many 3D printers.
We want this to be free to everybody. We want to disseminate the information so that people can start making these things. People who are familiar with 3D printing, the STL file is really the standard file type, and it would be a very straightforward process to print these masks that can start as soon as they have the file.
In Billings, Samantha Sullivan, MTN News.
So if you or someone you know has access to a 3D printer, the Billings Clinic is asking for your help. You can go to billingsclinic.com/foundation for information, including instructions and the downloadable file to print masks. For help or for additional information, you can reach them at 435-MASK. 6:38 now. As Americans struggle to cope with everything from staying home to social distancing, some are finding ways to stay safe and uplift spirits. CBS's Laura Podesta shows how that's happening across the country.
While many around the country stayed indoors this weekend, volunteers in St. Paul, Minnesota did not.
From the neighborhood, and I'll be back with more.
They collected donated face masks to hand off to first responders on the front lines fighting the coronavirus. Elsewhere in the country, Americans found ways to keep spirits lifted during this stressful time. In Northern California, a group draped an American flag over a highway overpass. And an Indiana boy who had to postpone his 8th birthday party received a surprise from his tight-knit community.
It makes me feel very happy that people actually care for me.
20 of Caden McCorkle's neighbors put up happy birthday signs, and some even left him a small gift on their front porch. In New York State, where all non-essential workers have been asked to stay home, Governor Andrew Cuomo delivered a message about overcoming challenges.
Dealing with hardship actually makes you stronger.
He also urged everyone to mentally prepare for social distancing and physical isolation being the norm until possibly the end of the year. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
6:39 now. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, the first U.S. senator to test positive for coronavirus is a doctor. Coming up, what that means for other senators and why lawmakers can't agree on a stimulus bill. That's all coming up, and here's what's ahead on CBS This Morning.
Good morning to you. Ahead on CBS This Morning, we'll have the latest on the Senate negotiations for a rescue package to limit the economic fallout from the coronavirus. We'll also talk to the Surgeon General about new efforts to get crucial supplies to medical centers as fears about a shortage grow. Plus, retired astronaut Peggy Whitson, who spent 665 days in space, shares tips on getting through self-isolation. We need that. And DJ D-Nice gives us an inside look at his dance party that had everyone from Jennifer Lopez to Michelle Obama to Mark Zuckerberg to Oprah. I went too, rocking out from his home. It was so much fun. Can't wait to talk to him. We'll see you at 7 o'clock.